Welcome to Becoming Saiyans.
A Dragon Ball rewatch podcast.
And we're back. I'm Truman.
And I'm Jesse.
And this is Becoming Saiyans, a Dragon Ball rewatch podcast. On today's episodes, we watched episode 48 and 49, titled with the names of Deep Blue Sea and Roshi Surprise. Some initial thoughts, Jesse. Did you enjoy these ones? I enjoyed them more than last episode.
They are better than the last two episodes we watched. Also, we should say before we get any too further, Happy New Year.
Merry New Year's to you all.
We did say we would start this episode saying that last episode, so we are.
Jesse, have you made any New Year's resolutions for this year? And how did you do on your ones last year?
Well, the ones last year, I kind of tried to be more consistent the last couple of years, trying to like make sure I try to brush my teeth a lot more, like just general hygiene, because I'll get behind on it. Having ADHD and just having a weird work schedule, it always kind of ruins it. My new work schedule works a lot better for doing that, because like most days I can, like, if I wake up, I can make sure I brush and then brush before I go to bed, or brush before I go to work when I'm working my overnight shifts. Yeah. So I've gotten better on it. You know, I think my newest resolution for this year is going to be trying to work out a little bit more.
Yeah, getting a little bit better shape is definitely an important one.
I'm a little, as they would say, a little too chunky.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm afraid to admit that.
Yeah. Anything about the podcast you have as a resolution for you?
I mean, so far we've actually been pretty consistent about how we've done it.
Yeah, we've been on it pretty well.
We haven't missed a week, which is really good. There's
not been a single week that we've missed. Yeah,
which is really good. Starting a podcast early, already having a pretty consistent release schedule. Yeah, so we're doing good on that. I hope nothing really ruins that. I think that's. I think like for the foreseeable future, consistency is what we want to go for. Yeah, consistency is key. I would like to eventually, I guess, like for my resolution for the show is I would like to eventually get to the point where I like can sit down and edit a little bit just to like, clean it up some, because I know especially those first few episodes were pretty rough sound wise. So I think we figured it out. I think us moving into the table in the kitchen or the dining room, and the acoustics are slightly better in here, and we're also only using one mic,
which
so we're not having to balance. We're not having to balance two microphones
on one track. Yeah, having just one track, and we're both speaking in a similar tone of voice to all of that kind of helps.
We don't have to be adjusting ourselves per microphone. Like, it has helped. Like I've been listening a lot more myself to the podcast when it comes out. Yeah. And I'm like, man, it sounds so much better.
Yeah, and I obviously listen every week because I've got to get the clips that I'm gonna put on TikTok and stuff. Yeah. I think like another eye in the sky goal for the podcast this next year is to get to the point where we could get like a sponsorship. That's like the pie in the sky goal.
I think my objective is be able to hit double digits in a week of release. I think that could be a really good early, because like so far, almost all of our podcast episodes after a couple weeks, we'll get double digits.
Yeah, we'll get to 10 about every week.
And this is us kind of like it's gonna sound like we're ranting or like we're demanding more listeners. It's like we know how it works, especially we know we're not Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce starting a podcast and shooting to #1 in the sports category because we're already famous. We are just two random dudes from Oklahoma. Like we're not going anywhere fast. Yeah. But it is. So that's why it's like a nice goal of like it'd be awesome to get to a point where we can at least guarantee like when we release an episode within a week, within a week of that.
It has 10. It has 10
by
downloads.
Next Thursday. We already have at least 10 downloads,
on that episode.
And we can set our clock to it.
Yeah,
it's not one of those things where it happens once or now. It's like every week we know. At least 10 people will download. Yeah, whether they listen to it or not, I guess that's up to them.
Yeah. But I listen. I check the analytics, and we hit about 23 downloads every week. But they're not all on the same episode.
I think some of it's people catching up. Because I know there are like some of my friends who I know listen to it. They listen to it while they're at work. Yeah, and so like they'll build up a couple episodes, and then they'll listen. They'll like in one shift they'll just listen to it because they do like maintenance and late overnight stuff, so they don't really interact with a lot of humans.
Yeah, and so I guess like my personal like New Year's resolution, since we got through the show one, My personal New Year's resolution is I eventually want to finish like a story I had been working on for like multiple years, and like format it in a way that I can try to, do something
pitch
with
it to like a publishing company or something.
Yeah, because I have like a book idea. I've been thinking about whether I should do it as a book or a comic book because I think it could work in both mediums. Like separately, I'd have to format it, but
yeah,
I think it could work probably as a short form, like a mini series in comics more than in the book, and that would be something I would really enjoy doing. That would probably be my biggest personal goal. I'm at a point in my job where I'm finally starting to get trained for the position I was hired for. So that's just, I don't think I need to put that as a resolution since it's already starting to happen.
Yeah.
And then, just maybe get myself in a better schedule where I have a chance to go work out on a semi-regular basis,
Yeah, I think for me, I guess adding to more personal goals, I guess just like, there's been a lot of turnover at my job, so maybe like a decent promotion and like increase in pay. Because it'd be awesome to not have to live with a roommate and without it being a choice. Like right now, me and my partner have to live with a roommate purely because it's the most fiscally responsible thing we can do. Yeah. Because theoretically, we do make enough to live with just ourselves in an apartment around here. But the apartment we get is super cheap for around here, and then we get to split everything 3 ways. Yeah. We do get more money to be able to like actually enjoy ourselves. Whereas if we were individually in an apartment by just us two, our leisure money would be practically zero every month.
Yeah.
Whereas now we get like we get $100 or $200 where we can like go have a dinner date every month or something.
Yeah.
So that is something cool. Like that's something to build towards as well. And
we hope you guys are along the journey for us with this show too,
Yeah.
Like the guys who are listening, the girls who are listening, the people who are listening, that we've made it about 7 minutes in just hearing us ramble about our personal lives and what we want for the podcast.
I guess if you're listening and this is a great time for people to reach out, like shoot what you might be looking forward to this year, because it could just be we're talking about our goals, but there's things we might be looking forward to this year. Like I'm looking forward to early next year. I'm going to go watch the Iron Lung movie with my partner because we are both big Markiplier fans. Him more so than me, but like we are both pretty big Markiplier fans. So I'm excited to see him be able to actually maybe get appreciated to a wider like Hollywood audience. Like that's exciting. Yeah. I know you have Pokemon competitive events.
I've got
you're
multiple events
for.
I'm heading to next year that I'm gonna try to finally break through a little bit on those. So
for me, there's like I'm sure there's countless games I'm interested in playing next year.
Yeah.
I'm an avid gamer, so that's something I'm always looking forward to. Like this year, so at this point, all of the games I was looking forward to this year, 90% of them were really good, and then the other 10% were like they didn't live up to my expectations, but that could also be on me for having too high expectations for certain games. Yeah. But like it's been a great year of gaming. Hopefully next year's is just as good.
And I've enjoyed starting this podcast this year. Like
this is a big thing
it's been nice like to have us get something. This was one of my resolutions for last year, was to create something like and put something out into the world,
like in a creative sense,
in a creative way, because I had felt kind of not in a good creative space. So being able to do this has been great, and thank you guys all for listening out there to us. And with that, we should probably get back into the episode after about 8 minutes of rambling and sappiness. And so some differences from the manga on the first episode, which, in case you had forgotten, is named Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, episode 48.
48. The differences are the scene with Commander Red and Staff Officer Black playing chess, exclusive to the anime.
Makes sense.
Master Roshi attempting to use the microband to just get sucked up by the vacuum, exclusive to the anime. General Blue hitting the soldier. He doesn't do that in the manga. He just gives the order. He doesn't get punched.
Yeah.
General Blue ordering Captain Dark to lead Team B to the island. He adds a follow-up order to he won't allow fat people in his unit, and Dark agreeing to it. In the manga, nothing like that happens, especially not any insult to his weight, which I bring up in my stuff I have. General Blue's speech to a squadron, followed by all the soldiers running to battle stations, exclusive to the anime. Captain Dark in the manga tells his co-pilot who was on the island when asked, or tells his co-pilot about who was on the island when asked. In the anime, he says a reminder of who is on the island, with his co-pilot telling him about the old man and woman. So they kind of swap spots. Like in the manga, he just the soldier tells him, and the anime he asks the soldier, or he tells the soldier, and in the anime the soldier tells him, or vice versa. And then after the Red Ribbon Army ends up missing their target, General Blue, aside from ordering them to pursue them, also executes the weapons operator. In the manga, he tells the snipers he instead orders for snipers to be executed. In addition, the anime has the weapons operator begging off screen before executing in full view of the crew, while the manga actually never shows the execution in any capacity. After the Red Ribbon Army sub ended up beached inside the cave, General Blue in the anime smugly states that Bulma and the others won't get away from him before ordering the preparation of the mini-subs that he'll ride along. In the manga, he merely orders for the mini-submarine's deployment without any remark. Getting into the trivia, during the scene where Commander Red's office, where him and Black are playing chess, Commander Red seemingly moves his queen twice to checkmate his foe. Moving twice is illegal, but however, it's possible that Black made his move off camera. We just didn't see it, but it looks like, from the amount of chess we're shown, Red moves and then Red moves again.
Yeah.
In the Japanese version of Blue's speech to his soldiers, he warns them that failure to obey orders will result in their execution. The English dub does not directly state this, but implies heavily that they have permissions to fail themselves before telling them that they cannot fail him, which Jesse said was quite a bar. I know he brought it up when we were watching it, and I'm sure he wrote it down in his notes.
I did.
The Red Ribbon Army theme song makes its debut as an insert song in the Japanese version of the episode, while the soldiers splitting up into two groups. The English version does not use it, which we didn't see, so... The seaplane is shown using rocket thrusters in the air and propellers under the sea, which is just like a cool design that it can swap back and forth. It is shown in this episode that General Blue's men may not be as evil as the higher ranking officers, as portrayed when the soldier cringes when Blue executes somebody.
Yeah.
When Goku, Krillin, and Bulma escape Blue submarine through the terminal, the submarine isn't visible behind them, but in one shot, but is in the next. The scene where Goku accidentally admits the Red Ribbon Army was after him, and Krillin after him to Bulma and Krillin out loud was a little bit different between the Japanese and English versions. In the Japanese version, he specifically states the Red Ribbon was after him, while in the English version, he says the army must be involved, causing Bulma and Krillin to deduce that that the army he mentioned was in fact the Red Ribbon Army. Mm-hmm. Goku does not directly state the Red Ribbon Army is targeting him due to viewing him as being in their way of the Dragon Balls in the English dubs, instead saying they were really mean about how they tried to get the balls. Likewise, the English dub adds a comment from Krillin in reply to the above stuff, where he states that them nearly blowing them to fish food with torpedoes was closer to borderline psychotic than simply mean. And then Bulma's line, would it help if I got out and pushed, as a reference to The Empire Strikes Back, where Leia says that to Han. Would it help if I get out and push? Yeah. When they're stuck on the planet with the worm.
Yep.
Jumping into the next episode, we've got the differences from the manga is that the officer giving Commander Red a report is exclusive to the anime. Several scenes with Roshi and Launch prior to the army arriving is completely exclusive to the anime, which is basically, that first 5 minutes of the episode. Yeah. Captain Dark has a whip he uses to threaten an attack with in the anime. He does not have a whip in the manga. After the unit was defeated by Roshi and Launch in the manga, the latter caught a conscious Red Ribbon soldier trying to sneak away and angrily tells them to take them back with him, implying that the soldiers were knocked out. And that was not in the anime, even though I guess Roshi does kind of have a moment like that with the reserves guy that's joking him. And largely because they cut that, the anime also cuts a scene from the manga where General Blue learns via report how Captain Dark's division was defeated by the island's populace, and also implies that the turtle might be powerful. Man, that turtle must have really carried them there, In the Japanese version, Red orders Black to see to it that the ones who developed the inaccurate radar are executed. This was changed in the English dub to make sure that General Blue takes Roshi alive. Red also insults Black in the dub by saying the latter understands nothing, while in the Japanese version he doesn't do that. When running from the army in the cave, Goku in the original version decides to go and beat up the soldiers, only to be dissuaded by Krillin because, they have guns. The dub changes it to him wanting to talk it out with the soldiers, but, Krillin gives him the same reason to, cut it out, dude, you're being ridiculous. The televised version of this episode aired on Cartoon Network's Toonami block and it heavily edited the sequence of Captain Dark's detachment invading Roshi's island. In particular, the scene of a red ribbon soldier holding launch at gunpoint was heavily edited to remove any explicit views of the gun being held against her head. This was done by extending previous shots and creating close-ups on Launch's face, the latter of which heavily degraded the visual quality due to the close-up, because they can't allow them to have guns on the show.
On Toonami.
But
they can allow the stuff from the
last two episodes, which we're not going to get back into.
But from episode 46. Yeah. What episode it was.
And so, with that, time to get into our recap.
Well, it didn't say anything about Toonami allowing that. I was assuming Toonami probably
there was no trivia saying Toonami blocked that. Yeah. So, that must mean Toonami was okay with that. Which is surprising, knowing Toonami's track record with things.
Yeah, they edited out the gun.
Yeah, but I guess they didn't explicitly do anything, so they didn't have to edit it out. They just heavily implied it.
Or like this is a teaching moment. One of those two.
But previously on Dragon Ball, Goku, Bulma, and Krillin are heading down to the bottom of the sea to get the Dragon Ball. They spend some time playing around in the water, and Goku gets out and messes with some fish and has a grand old time swimming around. While all this is going on, Commander Red has ordered Blue to take the old man, which is Roshi, as a prisoner, so he'll build them the accurate version of the Dragon Radar. Blue says, okay, I'm going to send my guy Captain Dark after them, or Commander Dark, whatever they say his name is. They were sending him after Roshi, and he diverts his forces, half going there and half going after Goku. He gets down to where Goku is in his own submarine and about knocks them out of the water with torpedoes, then has to get into smaller boats to follow in pursuit. Meanwhile, Roshi is under a invasion. The Kame House is under invasion. But luckily, Roshi is still the strongest man under the universe or whatever. That he won the martial arts tournament, and these guys are no match for him or Launch. And Goku, Bulma, and Krillin escape General Blue, but now we're stuck inside the pirate's cave, and who knows what will happen next. And that's what you missed on Dragon Ball. Jesse, go.
Already way better than the last two episodes. Yeah. I don't think there's any argument, because there's no extremely low moment. Because where you do have some low moments, Roshi gets his comeuppance, as Roshi tends to do.
Anytime Roshi does something that would be considered a perv moment, which in this one, the first one happened at 5 minutes and 50 seconds, for you guys keeping track at home, he immediately gets comeuppance on all of them.
Yeah. He immediately gets what's coming down the pipeline for him.
Yeah.
I have to say that, all in all, still, even without comparing them to the last episodes, pretty decent episodes.
Yeah. These feel like a start of an ongoing battle between these two people.
These feel like what type of story should be within an 11-episode arc in the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
This is a great way to get this arc moving in the direction we need it to.
And raising the stakes a bit, Goku, we know Goku, if the Dragon Balls are with Goku, he's not losing the Dragon Balls. Yeah. But now the Dragon Balls aren't with Goku.
They're with Roshi.
So therefore there's a chance they could go somewhere. They could go missing. Somebody else could get a hold of them. Even though Roshi is really strong as well, there's a chance that they could go missing because somebody else has them.
I mean, in the episode, Launch picks up the bag and drops them on the floor.
Yeah. And so, they could go missing at this point just because of the fact that they are not directly on his person. So the stakes are already raised there. Could they lose the Dragon Balls? Yes, they might actually lose them. with the with Goku and stuff, they are trapped inside a cave underwater,
and the only way out is presumably to keep going,
and or to go back through the army with guns, and only one of them being bulletproof.
Which is why it comes down to the only way to know if you have to go back is to keep going.
Yeah, and so the stakes are immediately risen, like on what's going on here
on both fronts.
Yeah, Blue has them cornered, and Roshi has seen the threat and is now going to probably have to deal inevitably with more threats to him. But before we get to all of that, we do see that Blue does have a little bit of fighting skill because he's able to feel the soldier moving up on him and knock him to the ground.
And be don't you know it takes a lot more to sneak up on a general and still stay alive, basically?
Yeah. And Roshi obviously being a perv because, that's what he does.
Well, welcome to Roshi. Hey, we will get to the other side of Roshi.
Yeah.
In the next episode
with his surprise
later in this episode, because I'm gonna be real honest with you. The next episode is a great example of why I understand why people say Roshi is one of their favorite characters. Because it's just not only is he a savage, he is savage. Yeah. But we'll get there because we're still reviewing the first episode.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out at this point, because this is there's a lot of A plot, B plot going on, which means we should probably just talk fully about the Roshi side of it and then the Goku side of it.
Kind of what everyone
and then about. The Red Ribbon side of it, because there's technically three timelines going that eventually start to cross. So which one do you want to talk with first? You want to go through the Roshi, these 2 episodes from Roshi's POV, these 2 episodes from Goku's POV, or you want to go from these 2 episodes from what's going on with the Red Ribbon Army?
It's probably easier to start with Goku's POV because a lot of Goku's POV is in the first episode.
Yeah,
a good chunk of Goku POV is in the first episode. Yeah. Goku Bulma.
They kind of swap A plot and B plot between him and Roshi between the 2 episodes.
Yeah. And then
the first episode is Goku's
majority Goku, and then you have Roshi in the second episode, and then obviously you have them both flipping and flopping.
Yeah. So the A plot of the first episode is Goku. They get inside this very sophisticated machine for Roshi to have.
Yeah.
I gotta give the man props. He saved some of that zenny from winning the tournament to buy a really cool submarine that can fly and go underwater, and has quite a bit going for it.
It's an awesome machine.
Yeah.
The only thing we don't see it have is weapons, which is understandable. It seems more like a personal vehicle than a militarized vehicle.
And then I love Goku being no wonder the fish is sad. It can only see blue.
Yeah, it can only see blue when he puts the goggles on to go swimming. Yeah. Which, by the way, I love Goku figuring out scuba diving gear.
Yeah, he was having a lot of fun, and Goku had the time of his life in the water.
Because this is the deepest water he's ever been in his life.
He's never been to the ocean outside of this being his first time.
And we know he loves swimming because he swims in the lake. He swims in the creek. When we first meet him, he's getting naked and fishing in the creek.
Yeah, he's
swimming, and he picks up a big old fish. That is our part of our introduction to Goku is the log and everything like that in the first episode. So we know Goku loves the outdoors and loves swimming. So imagine being able to swim in the biggest body of water on the planet in ocean.
Yeah, and so he's having a grand time. He finds that really funny ticklefish, and then he grabs the giant crab.
Yeah, I also would point out for people who know anything about scuba diving and deep sea diving, this is it's a sneaky way to show again just power scale Goku. The fact of to be that deep in the ocean as they are and have no protective gear, nothing. You are just swimming
with
by yourself with just an
mask.
Oxygen tank and a mask. For anybody who knows that, any normal human being would have crushed to death the moment they left that sub.
And froze to death because it's got to be freezing cold.
It's cold.
There. I guess we don't know
warm oceans.
We don't know about the Dragon Ball universe how warm water is.
Yeah, but the point of this is with as deep as it had to have been for him,
the pressure on him,
the water pressure is insane. That is the number one big thing when it comes to scuba diving. Because I have a morbid curiosity of scuba incidents and like caving incidents. Like I love watching those videos on YouTube. So I watch a lot of like scuba diving, like death videos, like where people are explaining like tragedies that happen in cave diving and caving and all this other stuff. So like learning how easy it is to die, and also just the fact that he can just easily re-enter a pressurized space and not be hurt. Like he just goes right back into the submarine. It's like the normal human, if they're as deep as Goku was, even with protective gear, would take like would probably take it at minimum, not knowing the exact death, at minimum probably an entire day of slowly going up every couple of hours and decompressing. And he just gets right back in the sub, goes to back to regular above the water surface pressure. Yeah. It has no adverse effects. He doesn't bottom out. He doesn't do any of that. Yeah. He doesn't like pressurize out. Like he's fine. It's like that's superhuman. Yeah. That's not even superhuman. That's alien, which we know he is. Yeah. Just like it's just a great. And maybe Tori and all them, like Akira and all them, didn't take that to account.
The science is not doesn't have to
but as someone who knows the science, it's like even if it wasn't meant to be, that's a great way to show it.
Yeah. And then, like, with Goku, like, he's out there having a good time, and then he finds, like, the crack in the bottom where they could go into the trench, and they go even deeper.
But he finds a little tiny crack. He's like, I can't fit in there.
And then, the boat's like, oh, yeah, Bulma and Krillin are like, it's over here, man.
Like, get back on the sub. We're going to go find it.
And so they start their descent. Blue catches up with them and starts following them down.
In a really cool-looking submarine.
Yeah, like a full battle submarine, too. Yeah. Like, fully armed with the coolest general in the Red Ribbon Army, in my opinion, the Hippo submarine captain. Dude, that's so funny that they have a hippo as their lead submarine person,
Hey, it makes sense.
Because it's like, he's a water thing, so he gets to be the water guy.
I'm a little surprised it wasn't like a fish person, but I think they mostly only have animal people.
Yeah, they only have
not animal people, mammal people.
Yeah, mammalian.
Mammalians.
Yeah, and so he, the hippo commander decides, along with the other people, like the arms weapons officer, shoot torpedoes. They miss. They shoot again. He says, "Hey, we missed again." He said, "I didn't miss again. You missed again," and executes him.
You.
It was who's this we you're talking about? I didn't press the button and miss. You pressed the button.
I didn't aim it. I didn't press it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he gets executed, which shows how savage Blue is as a person. He just freely executes his soldiers, which I guess he takes after Red because, presumably they tried to execute Silver,
Yeah.
And then Goku finally says to the group, like, hey, this is the army that's following us. And they're like, what do you mean the army? You know about these guys? And why didn't you tell us the Red Ribbon Army was after you? And it's like, well, no one asked.
No one asked, which is the most Goku thing he could have ever said.
Yeah.
It's like, no one asked me. I didn't think it was important.
And then to end the episode, they just have been slowly outrunning Blue's army until they get to the pocket inside this cave where they can get out and walk. And they find out that they're in the pirates' lair.
And they turn lights on. They turn the lights on, and they find the pirate school. Goku finds pirate school, scares Bulma and Krillin, which is a really funny little scene. And then they're like, "Wait a second, pirates!" And they start celebrating because they know the monetary value of gems and coins and stuff. And Goku's just like, "Man, they must be really happy." Like he doesn't say it, but in his mind, you can imagine they must be really happy we're close to the Dragon Ball.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like no, they're happy because they can be rich.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. And I have a feeling they're gonna find a Dragon Ball and not much else, probably.
Yeah, and so dealer's choice, Jesse, Roshi or Red Ribbon.
I think Roshi's the funniest one to talk about last because I have more thoughts about the Roshi.
So you want to go through the Red Ribbon?
And the Red Ribbon won't take that long because most of the Red Ribbon is addressed with Goku, and then the part of the Red Ribbon will get into Roshi anyways.
So with the Red Ribbon's plan in these two episodes,
it is a good
Blue's plan.
Yeah, like. I have to give Blue props where props are deserved. He kind of has been the best general we've seen as far as planning wise. Like he had a solid plan. Now, is he falling into the same trap that everyone else has and is underestimating Goku and friends?
Yes. So far, at the end of the second episode, he specifically says, these guys are for real. I don't care that there's a girl and 2 children.
But like going to the beginning,
going to
the beginning.
But that's his
character.
Phase. That's his character arc between these 2 episodes.
He's him like knowing. He's the first one to fully admit, okay, I was wrong. Well, that's at the end of the arc. We're starting at the beginning
of the arc, he is still saying, well, this will be easy.
This is an easy plan.
I'm going to go take out Goku, which is obviously easy. I don't know what happened with White and Silver. Obviously, this
it comes down to it where it's like his overconfidence means that he draws up this plan that even I think you kind of feel the undertones of him thinking this is overkill. Yeah. But, just in case, we should probably go for overkill.
I'll send half a squadron to go bring in this old man, and me and the other half will go down underwater.
It's like you want overkill on both sides, purely just so then, you account for all possibilities, except the possibility that everyone can just one-shot you. Yeah, and which is the possibility that we're dealing with, but he doesn't know that yet.
Yeah. The funny thing is that, like, apparently they are sexists in the Dragon Ball universe, especially with the Red Ribbon Army being like the only people who could be smart enough to build the Dragon Raider has to be this old man.
Yeah.
Instead of like, and this is something I thought to myself.
When you think scientist that builds advanced radar, Roshi does kind of look like that. Yeah. Without any other context of who Roshi is.
Yeah. But the irony of it is that his plan, his squadron is going to kill Goku. If he succeeds, he is going to kill the person who created the Dragon Radar.
Which is really funny.
Which is the fun irony of these episodes is that they think that Roshi's the one that created it.
So we only need the only old man's the one we need alive.
Yeah, and so they're gonna go kill Goku, Krillin, and Bulma, and in doing so, if they were to succeed, they would end up killing the person who created the Dragon Radar.
But on the other hand, it might take them a lot longer to get the rest of the Dragon Balls because their radar sucks.
But if they kill Goku,
there's no one stopping them from getting it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the plan does still work for the way they want it to, but not exactly how they want it to.
Yeah. But he definitely, the beginning of this arc, he grossly underestimates what's going on. Because you can tell, even though it wasn't in the last 2 episodes for us English speakers, and the Japanese version, he makes those comments about how Silver and White were inept and losers, and there were shades of that in what he was saying subtextually. Yeah. For us,
he just didn't say it as obviously as he.
He just didn't immediately say these guys suck and I'm cool, which is something that White said about Silver. Was like, yeah, but Silver's overconfident and cocky. Like, I can take this. Blue is like, yeah, but like Silver and White, like what are they?
They're not good. They're not.
They're not me. They're not me.
Yeah, like I'm the best general that's not red, basically, is what he's implying.
Yeah. And so he devises the plan, which is we're going to break our team in half. Half of us is going to go take down the old man and bring him in and kill everybody else. The other half is going to go with me, and we're going to go take down Goku, Krillin, and Bulma. And at the end of that, he takes his group down there to blow up the ship underwater and presumably kill them, but he fails, but he's able to keep up with them enough to follow them into the lair, and that's where Blue's part of it is done. The B plot with Commander Dark or Captain Dark, Mr. Dark, the B Company, the Roshi Squad, we will get to with our next with the next episode the next part of our plot where Roshi, Launch, and Turtle all get finally into this battle, and they get brought into it, which is where we're finally going to get into the Roshi plot of the episode, which is probably the weakest part of the episode and the first episode. Yeah. And the second episode, obviously, he takes a better role.
It may be one of the weaker plots in this episode, but it's not weak purely because of what's happening and like how funny and entertaining it is. It's weak mostly because not a whole lot happens that we didn't expect was going to happen.
Yeah, it's just Roshi. And anytime we cut back to Roshi, it was just antics of Roshi.
Antics of Roshi or Launch post sneeze.
Yeah, it's antics with Roshi and Launch combined.
And the turtle's there to like tickle her nose a couple times.
Yeah. And so, like, in the first episode, that's basically all that happens is Roshi is trying to be a perv, and then
he's using the shrinking device again.
And then, Launch sneezes, and so now we got mean Launch around here. So Roshi rolls a nat 20 on his charisma saving throw and is able to avoid immediately getting shot, but then he can't help himself. And so then he does.
Like, he was so close. so close to getting
He threaded that needle like, so well.
Let me see where it's at.
She gets turned and she's like, "What is this game we're playing? Do I live here? Are we roommates?" He's like, "Yes, we're roommates," which is not a lie. And then he goes, "Yeah," and like, "Well, what do you do for me?" And
it's like all of this is in the second episode, apparently. Actually.
Oh, I thought this was in the first. Okay.
Because I like looking at my notes. I'm like, oh, I got all the notes in the second episode. Yeah, it's like he like starts antagonizing Launch, and because like it comes down to, you know, he gets vacuumed up. And everything.
Yeah, and then he gets vacuumed.
So like he shrinks himself down. Launch finds the bags. Launch knows the bag. I don't necessarily know if she knows what the Dragon Balls are.
She sees them and is like, "What are these?" And then drops them on the ground.
Drops on the ground. I think she might. I don't know if she picked them up, put it back in the bag or not.
No, I think they just left them there.
Yeah, but like Launch finds the bags. Like, this is kind of weird. While this is happening, Roshi sneaks into the bathroom, shrinks himself down, and is waiting for Launch to have to use the bathroom. He waits for a really long time. And then Launch finally comes in. He's like, "Yeah, she's gonna do it." And then she starts to vacuum. It sucks him into the vacuum. He's like, "I hate this." And in that moment, I wrote, "Roshi is digging this watch. Yeah. This watch is not digging Roshi."
Yeah, the plan that he had with this watch is up to this point been a complete and total failure on all levels.
And then after that, he gets out of the vacuum eventually. We don't see him get out of the vacuum, but he gets out of the vacuum eventually.
Yeah.
And he's like relaxing. He's like, "Man, it's so nice. Like, I have a cute girl. I have an island all to myself. It's just so cool. What more could a hermit want?" And he's like, "You know what? I think I'm gonna be greedy, basically."
Yeah.
And he walks into the kitchen. He draws a hot bath. Walks into the kitchen where Launch is cooking eggs.
Yeah.
It's like, "Launch, you should go take a bath. Come on. Fights her.
The pepper
explodes
into
her face.
Yeah, and so then she sneezes.
And then he has to roll the charisma save.
Yeah, not very often do you have to roll a charisma saving throw in Dungeons and Dragons, but Roshi will find a way to walk himself.
Well, I should say, not often do you have to roll a charisma saving throw in Dungeons and Dragons unless your DM really loves using a certain type of magic.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of in bard spells. There's a lot of charisma and wisdoms.
Yeah. And so with that, like, Roshi is able to survive at, like, the first round of Launch going to attack him. He kind of talks her down, and she seems reasonable for the most... As reasonable as she can be.
She's like, "You know what? I guess we are roommates. You can give me a massage." And he gives a good enough massage. She's not suspicious until he flips her around and starts trying to give a front massage. And then she loads the gun and shoots him up full.
And so then Roshi has to turn into a cook, and then
he cooks the Roshi surprise.
Oh no, he said the thing. Roll credits. But no. She doesn't like the food, and then about that point is when the B team starts coming towards Roshi's house. Yeah. And that's where we get some of the most savage Roshi lines.
From this point on, this is a great example of why I can understand people are like, Roshi's one of my favorite characters. Because a lot of times, I think when you say that, you kind of just are ignoring all the pervy moments, and you're just thinking about him doing this stuff.
Yeah, because it's
just being a savage.
He's standing in front of these people, all guns drawn, and he's like, "What do you guys call yourself? I've never heard of you before." And then, like, obviously he knows who they are. And then they're like, "We're the Red Ribbon Army, don't you know?" And he's like, "Oh, wait, no, I have heard about you guys. I'm sorry, you just go by so many different names, like the Red Loser Squad, or, you know, the Dummy Poo-Poo Head Squad." Like, just being like the most childish burns, but they were funny.
Poo-Poo Head. And then he's like, "I'm here for the Dragon Balls." I'm like, "Oh, of course you need Dragon Balls.
Of course you need balls. You're lacking in the ball department."
He's just so savage.
And then the guy starts trying to whip him, and he's like, you know, dodging them with ease. And at one point he's like, "Oh, I felt the wind on that one." And then he goes, "Well, I was holding back, but I won't be able to hold myself back much longer." And he's like, "Well, there's a lot of you to hold back." So
it's a fat general.
It's just, dude, Roshi was going ham in this episode. And then, like, finally Roshi's like, "Okay, I'm done playing with you guys now.
I'm done toying with you."
And he just knocks all of them out in one punch. Except for one gets a hold of Launch and is holding her at gunpoint. And he's like, okay. And then
Turtle comes up with the leaf he made Launch sneeze, so she would go back to nice Launch earlier.
Yeah, now back to angry
Tickles
Launch.
Angry Launches. She starts beating the crap out of this dude.
Yeah, just literally like kicking him over and over again.
Yeah, like she like knocks him out. He lands on his back. Then she starts kicking him. And Roshi's like, "Okay, it's time to go." And as she's dragging her away, she flips the dude off.
Yeah. And then there's one soldier left, and he's like, "You want to join your friends?" And he's like, "No, I'm on the reserves." I don't want to. And so, presumably they're all out of commission. And about this point, this is where we'll go back to Blue, because Blue gets news about this happening as they've got them like cornered in the pirate
in the Pirate Cove,
and
which they don't know is a pirate cove at this point.
Yeah. They don't know it's a pirate cove.
They learn that in like the next 4 minutes.
But he's got them cornered in this cave, down this tunnel, and he hears about this, and this totally changes his game plan here, where he thought it was an easy thing.
Yeah, he pulls everyone back and like gets them in a huddle, and he basically is like, "Okay, we can't underestimate these people."
He's like, I just got news that the B Squad or Commander Darks got wiped out, and they're like, "How'd they get wiped out?" And he's like, it sounds like they got wiped out by the old man, the girl, and there was a turtle there. And they were like, yeah, but like, these are children we're dealing with and a girl. And he's like
they're also known associates of the people who just wiped out our squad. I don't care if they're young.
And he also brings up the part where he's like, one of these children was able to completely single-handedly take out Silver and White. We just heard that one of the associates that he has that helped him took out all of Dark's group, and there are 2 other people we have no idea what their levels are.
Yeah, so how about we
honest. Walk that?
And he literally is just like, I don't care if they're young, old, like gay, or none of that stuff. It's like, I don't care what they are. I don't care their gender, their age, or nothing.
They're enemies, and we cannot take them lightly.
We cannot. We must tread carefully.
Which is the first time any of these people going up against Goku in this army have taken him to the point of seriousness that is important when you're dealing with Goku.
It's like the only person who's gotten close enough at this point was, of course, White.
Yeah.
And even White let it slip a couple times.
Yeah, White, like, he had him up until the last moment where he's like, well, there's no way he could still be, like, good enough to handle this, Yeah. And I'm sure Blue's going to have a moment like that, too, where he's like, I finally got you, and then loses, Like, you can see it coming. Blue's not much of a threat, as far as I can tell. Like, he doesn't seem, like, in a one-on-one situation, Blue doesn't seem like much of a threat.
But he does have a good leadership style, as far as, like, a threatening leadership style. I guess I shouldn't say good.
It's not good. Killing
people.
your
own men just for missing a torpedo and stuff like that, and picking their nose.
Yeah.
Doesn't really get you very far.
But he is probably one of the stronger, like, strategists that we've seen so far. So, but Jesse, you ready to get into our prediction phase real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so you said, I'm going to go back to your arc predictions. You said that Blue is a more resourceful general. I'm going to say, I think you were talking about his resources at his disposal. And I'm going to say he has got the most resources at his disposal.
Yeah.
The Dragon Ball guess we're going to leave open because we don't know yet. Then going into the next ones, your predictions were they try to locate the underwater Dragon Ball. That definitely happened. That entire first episode was basically them trying to find out where it is. And then the second prediction for you was Roshi fights off the Red Ribbon Army and either uses the watch to become giant or have Launch sneeze and save the day. So I'm going to say you get that one as a check because
Launch did sneeze and save the day at the end.
Yeah, Launch sneezed and saved herself. So, and in doing so, like, was able to stop them from getting the balls. So, gonna go ahead and give you that one. Moving into our predictions for next week, let's pull up the names of the episodes. Jesse, how about it?
Yeah.
We have episode 50, The Trap is Sprung, and episode 51, Beware of Robot. What do you think is going to happen?
Trap is sprung.
No, not a trap. The trap.
I said the trap.
The trap. So, what do you think that trap could be, and who do you think sprung it?
I think Blue and them are going to spring a trap.
Blue going to try to set up and spring a trap
against Goku and Bulma.
Okay.
Couldn't really tell you what type of trap, but I think that's what they're going to plan.
Okay. And then Beware of Robot. What do you think that is, Jesse?
I think they might either the Red Ribbon, like Blue and them, set off a robot on either one of the groups of either Goku and Bulma and them or Roshi.
Yeah.
Or maybe they find a robot protecting the pirate's treasure, and Goku has to defeat it or something.
Well, you got to pick one. I'm not gonna let you have both. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm gonna say pirate robot. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say pirate robot.
Okay.
This might be a week where I don't get any prediction right. This could be a week where I do get that one right because I went out on a limb.
Okay. All right. Well, Jesse, then I guess all that's left now is us to move into our worst part and best part. So, Jesse, what is your worst part of the episode?
Oh man, there's pretty solid parts. I mean, because of how often Roshi gets his comeuppance when he tries to do weird stuff, like that. I can't necessarily give it to the vacuum because it's funny enough that he redeems himself there.
Yeah, I have one. If you want me to go with mine,
yeah, you can say yours.
My biggest, and this is more about kind of personal politics and today and current day ish times of stuff. But the whole comment on Commander Dark from Blue about his weight and telling him you got to lose some weight reminded me a lot of the way he said it reminded me a lot of our Department of Defense leader addressing the military commanders. It gave me a lot of that, and I really didn't like it when I heard it there.
It is icky. It is icky even without the IRL context of it. It's still just an icky thing to say.
But with that, especially, it just hits a little and especially with Blue being the blonde-haired, blue-eyed soldier, you know, and then having the whole standing in front of the whole army, giving the the giant speech, all of that in out of context of Dragon Ball feels a little icky. So since there's not a whole lot, I'm this is the worst thing ever of this episode. I'm going to go with that being my worst part. So you can have it too if you want, but that's just one that I had kind of in my craw from the beginning.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like such a pretty weak one. It's not super weak, but it seems like a weaker. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that sticks out in my mind that feels like a worst part.
Outside of just throwing out Roshi being a perv, I can't really think of anything else that was definitively bad.
Yeah, I guess we can go on that. Especially with you explaining your opinions on with it linked to the IRL stuff.
Yeah,
that does make it a little worse to me as well.
Yeah,
I didn't think of it in that context.
Yeah, with that context, it's ooh, yeah, that's extra.
When I was watching, I was thinking in the context he's just fat shaming a dude.
Yeah, I wrote down fat shaming, and the more I thought about it, the more I connected it to IRL stuff going on. So then, Jesse, what's your best part?
Savage Roshi. I think it's hard Roshi. Not to choose.
Are you going with the fight or with the
just the whole package? Okay. I think it's
because I was gonna take the fight if you took the jokes, and if you took the jokes, I was gonna take the fight.
I mean, let's just as a group.
The Roshi scene where he's making jokes at their expense and all that stuff.
Yeah, him just being a savage is very fun to watch there.
Yep. So with that, I guess we're gonna come up to a close. Thank you guys for listening again. To us. Hopefully you'll be listening to us throughout the next year in some change. Thinking about how many episodes we go through, we should be done with Dragon Ball by the end of this year. Thinking about it in theory,
Yeah, I mean, if we posted an episode every week,
with 2 to 3 episodes.
Yeah,
and there's about we're hitting that. There's 151 episodes in Dragon Ball, and we're at starting with next episode. We'll be at 50 and 51.
Yeah, starting. Technically, this one starts the new year because it comes out.
Yeah, but starting the week after New Year's, we'll be hitting that within 100 episodes. So, theoretically, by the end, we could be ending next year.
There's 52 weeks in a year. So
by the end of the year, we could be hitting.
We're making more progress than when you put it in that context. I'm we're making a lot more progress than I thought.
We'll be hitting the end of Dragon Ball by the end of this upcoming year that we're.
Our New Year's episode this next year could be the
end of
finale.
Dragon Ball or the beginning of Dragon Ball Z.
I guess I should say the series finale because it starts. Z is a new series.
Yeah.
So that could be a fun special episode as a New Year's year in review.
Year in review, looking back.
We didn't have much of a year in review this year. I mean, we started. This will be the 25th episode, I think, right? Or the 26th.
Yeah, this will be the 26th episode.
I think we did the math earlier.
Yeah. And so. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you for staying with us. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you guys, and you hearing from us throughout the next year. And with, you can reach out to us with an email at becomingsaiyans@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok at Becoming Saiyans Pod. And until next week, I've been Truman.
And I've been Jesse.
And the journey continues.
Bye.